Hi, Michael. It's been a long time since I've seen you and chat with you. I'm just waiting for Dr. Kumar. He should be here any minute. He's working with his patients, so we have to catch up. I haven't seen you. Have seen you on the space bar whenever I go in my other account, but because the way the new update is, I really don't see anyone's avatar, so I don't know who's and what. But I'm glad you're here. Hi. Yeah, it's been a while. I just remember we got to know each other when you first started into spaces, and now you're hosting your own. You're doing a lot of your own stuff. Oh, there's Dr. Kumar.
Welcome. Great to see you. I'm glad I can make it to this. I like neuropsychology.
Yep. Dr. Kumar is going to talk a bit more with us. Hi, Dr. Kumar. How are you? I think you're still
Yep,
muted.
I'm muted. Okay, I'm good. There we
It
go.
happens to me
Yeah,
too.
no worries. It's all good.
How are
Yeah,
you?
I'm doing good. I was just a little bit behind, but I'm situated.
No worries.
Okay, it's all good. So it's a weird topic that I chose for this week's talk. Can you hear me?
I can hear you
Okay,
perfectly.
awesome,
Yeah, I'd love to
awesome.
know. So, what made you decide to pick up choose this topic for this week?
So the thing is this, okay? So we've talked about longevity and age reversal and wellness and all that other good stuff, right? About sexual function, peak performance, and the whole 9 yards. The missing piece was the psychology behind all that. So over the past couple of days, I bumped into this. He's a PhD. He's a neuropsychologist. His name is Mario Martinez. Okay, you guys can look him up. And the book that he's written that kind of inspired me is called The Mind Body Code. Okay, so I urge everybody, if you get a chance, get your hands on this book. It's a little bit of a heavy reading, and I'm still trying to get through it. But he's done a lot of research on the psychology of longevity. you know so I mean, we can do all the stem cells we need to, and the supplements and the senolytics and the NAD and all that, but fundamentally I think if we can take pieces of this, I think it's going to magnify the results that we expect of all the procedures that we do. So we have the body stuff on one side, but the mind stuff, he's really focused on the psychology of what lies behind longevity. So what he's done is, he's interviewed and studied centenarians, so folks who are over the age of 100 and living, a life that is not just living, but actually having a life, which means being functional, being productive members of society, and so on and so forth, which was a huge kind of a wake up call for me because, yeah, we look at, the mind body connection, but not as a direct correlate of longevity and wellness. So I thought it'd be interesting for me to kind of point this book out and follow him. He's got a video too, that you have to kind of sign up. But if you Google his name, I'm sure you're going to find a lot of resources that he's put out, and really very very interesting. So, and his belief is very simple. Culture is what dictates on how we think about aging, right? So when you ask anybody on the street, what do you think about aging? What's the first thing that comes to their mind? It's disability, right? It's being hospitalized and taking a bunch of medications, having chronic illnesses. That is the typical kind of the way we think about aging, right? No, very few people actually think about aging as being stronger, wiser, and smarter. And which is kind of unusual. So what he says is, by just flipping the way we look at aging in these positive terms, actually helps us, you know, have the mind dictate to the body on how to behave, right? So it is something that we talk about in the general sense of mind body medicine, but not especially focused towards longevity. So he's making this huge connection between how, how you think about aging can make an actual difference in how your body ages. I'm sure this will make sense to a few people out there, but um, I mean, initially I was kind of skeptical about it, but the science that he has is rock solid. So this is not something, new agey BS. I mean, this is real science. So this is what I really want to talk about, and I can highlight a few things that he discovered among the centenarians. And the thing that struck me the most was this concept about time elongation. What do we mean by that? So when you talk to a few centenarians on saying, "Hey, what are your plans?" Um, he did not hear, "Oh, I want to be okay next week" or something like that. What he heard from them was, "Hey, I'm learning a new language now, and 3 years from now, I want to visit that country." So, which means in their mind, they've already expanded how much they're going to live longer. Again, this is not an accidental thing. I mean, they are willing or having their mind dictate to their body that their plan in 3 years is to have this purpose of learning a new language and having something to do at the end of those 3 years. So this was not short-term planning, but this is actually long-term planning, which means and with the same correlation of time elongation, he talks about how we routinely in this day and age are time stressed. Okay, we are always in a rush to get to the next thing, right? So in our mind, we are actually compressing time. So when we are compressing time, we feel that the time is getting faster and faster. Time goes by so quickly. I mean, that is the typical phrase that we hear from older folks. As we get older, it seems like the Christmases are coming, closer and closer and closer and quicker and quicker and quicker. So by this mind trick, maybe you might want to call it the Jedi mind trick, you can actually trick your mind to saying, "Hey, there is plenty of time. There is plenty of time." So instead of living through the time, they're living through what's called the space, which means they're taking their time to do the stuff that really matters to people. And this is something that we can adapt. This is not something that's hard to understand or hard to implement. This is just a shift in our mind frame. When you think about how you can feel better, be a lot stronger than what can be achieved with anything else. Obviously you don't miss out the medical part. We still need to do the medical part, but I think this is the missing piece that I'm.
Would you call it like mindset?
Yeah, I mean, this is huge, and I'll give you another example. So he interviewed a Holocaust survivor, and and asking him, so what was the thing that you took away the most from being in the Holocaust camps? And to his surprise, this gentleman told him that the highlight of his day was one of the guards who was his age smuggling him pieces of bread. He said, they were all, idiots, and, he used a bunch of bad words among the other guards who were torturing people. But you know what? That was not where he focused on. What he focused on was the good thing that he saw in this guard who just gave him a few pieces of bread every day, smuggled it in. He said, I'm so thankful to him because he gave me sustenance, even though it was so little. So, forgiveness, unconditional forgiveness, it seems to be one of the correlates of longevity. So that takes the burden off you, and you feel that power coming back. I mean, I think this is all subconscious stuff, but it kind of blew my mind. Yeah,
I agree.
yeah,
I totally agree. I feel like the forgiveness is the hardest than anything. But once you forgive, you're taking all that weight off of you. And sometimes, we as human beings need to learn how to get out of our own way, where because our own fear is the reason why. And I feel like mindfulness is such a hard task for a lot of people like us. Like for me, it was like really hard. It took me years. I mean, I'm still trying to like learn more about just not doing anything and not saying anything, not just sitting in one place. That's like the hardest thing. But also, try not to be triggered and try not to like react.
yeah.
That's the hard part.
So
And
yeah,
going through menopause too, that was hard too. But I'm almost done. I'm happy.
yeah. So the thing is this: I'm giving you this example. I mean, you cannot get more extreme than somebody who lived through a concentration camp. Can you imagine for this person to have lived through it, and he's taking such a positive angle of the whole experience? Yeah, obviously, he went through physical pain and mental pain and emotional pain, but for him to reach a level of achieving becoming a centenarian, but the reason for that was he unloaded his burden so easily when he looked at the positive side of something so negative. I mean, in such a positive angle, that kind of blew my mind. Here, I mean, there are a whole bunch of things that I would urge these, anybody who's listening to this, please look into this. I mean, if you are into wellness, peak performance, it doesn't matter what age. Instead of us selling, sick care, this is such a simple thing that we can adopt in terms of healing ourselves. Getting rid of so many things that are overwhelming us, especially with this post-COVID deal. I mean, every day I'm seeing addiction issues off the charts, stress issues off the charts, mental issues off the charts, much more than I've ever seen during so many years of my practice. The past couple of months, it's kind of overwhelming for us physicians, seeing this. And, many times most of this is self-care. Most of this is something that you don't need a physician to teach you guys. This is something that you can pick up. My job is to kind of highlight some of these things that are kind of hidden behind the scenes, but do make a radical difference in the way we live and we function, and be more beneficial to society and to our families and to ourselves. And why not? It doesn't cost a penny. Maybe the cost of the book. So the name of the book again is The Mind Body Code, and the author is Dr. Maria Martinez. He's a PhD, neuropsychologist, and God bless him for the work that he has done, because this is something that we all need in this time and age.
I think I
So,
don't know if Michael had a question. He had his hands up, but
yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead. Continue on, Dr. Kumar.
Yeah, so that's all that I have for you guys. If any issues, any questions, reach out to me. I mean,
Can we talk a little bit? We have like another 15 minutes. I want to
yeah,
talk a bit
yeah.
more about the
So
importance
go
of
ahead, throw some
mindfulness.
questions at me. I'm ready.
Because I feel like during, the last 2.5 years during this lockdown and everything and COVID and all that stuff. And I noticed a lot of people who succumb to it sometimes have like kind of given up or maybe didn't believe they can get it maybe. But I'm not them, so I can't really say the analogy of what they were going through. But I feel like a lot of people need to, this is my personal opinion, because when I feel overwhelmed, I stop and I practice mindfulness, doing nothing, which is the hardest thing. But that hope, the feeling of hope, the feeling of like mindfulness that it's going to be okay. We've always been on this whole. I feel like the whole country, the world, is adrenal going through an adrenal fatigue.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, all you have to do is turn on the TV for a few minutes, and you feel that your energy being sucked away. Literally, I mean, I'm seeing this day in and day out. And I want to highlight another thing, Tanya, if we can. So, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of patients who come in who with all kinds of mental health issues. Um, so, one of the things that I've implemented in my clinic is ketamine therapy. So ketamine is the closest thing that legally we can use that is closely related to a psychedelic. And this whole area of psychedelic medicine is just now beginning to open up its eyes. And most of the research is being done at Johns Hopkins. But it's going to be the best thing that can happen for mental health issues, once it becomes mainstream. But anyway, ketamine therapy in my hands has been blowing my socks off. I'm talking about patients who've been stuck in major depression issues, nothing is working. And one little dose, it takes about 40 minutes to administer an IV dose, has radically changed people's lives. I'm telling you, I saw my sixth patient today with mental major issues, 32-year-old woman. And just one dose of ketamine, oh my God, she woke up, literally woke up. And the chances that she would need another dose is really small, So it's just a few doses. It doesn't mean that people have to have tons of it, but it's a very tiny
I
dose.
had it done. I love it. It changed
Oh
my
my
life.
God! I mean, have you
Changed my life.
seen the? Have you had that experience? So you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I really and all the anxiety, all my inner like voices, as I call them, like saying, "Oh, what if this is going to happen? If that's going to happen?" And I was caregiving for my mother-in-law, and I
Yeah,
constantly
I
like, was
remember.
in fear of her dying, and I wasn't going to be there to take care of her, and then who's going to take care of my hubby? Like this whole like while I'm trying to work and run a business and all this. But then when I did my first ketamine therapy, I mean,
Yeah.
I felt I felt like I was up in the mountains in the sky, floating in the cloud, meditating with my grandfather. And he told me everything's going to be okay. What will be, will be.
Oh my
That's all
God.
I remember him saying. He goes, "You're going to be okay. Just breathe. What will be, will be." And you can't control everything about someone else's journey. You have to worry about yourself. And that's what I experienced with ketamine. And after I woke up, I felt like 50 years was lifted off my shoulder. 50
That's
years.
exactly how this patient explained to me this morning. How much relief she was. She felt lighter. The brain was completely clear. Can you imagine? I mean, mainstream medicine is beginning to wake up to this finally. Um, I mean, there is ketamine.
Isn't there a study where they say that there's the synapses were starting to form,
Oh
develop?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
you need, and because of all, especially nowadays. Can you tell a little bit about what is a synapses? Why is it so important for it to
So
function?
the thing is, I'm still trying to get my hands around the theoretical part and the research side. But what I know is it just places the whole brain chemistry back into balance. And that's the simplest way of explaining it. I mean, it just puts everything back into balance. And the way it does it is, again, at the neurological level, but from a psychological point of view, it looks like it opens the doors to all these things that were locked up, that were hidden, that were subjected to suffering because they were all hidden away. I mean, they did not disappear. They were still within the system, creating havoc from within. And all of a sudden, you have these doors that are opened up, unlocked, and all those devils kind of fly away, and you're just left the way you are supposed to be, the way you are as a human being. I mean, that's the best way I can express it. I'm kind of gingerly stepping into this area, but so far the results are extremely encouraging, and it's extremely safe. Obviously, you need to get it done under a physician's care. There has to be some monitoring, medical monitoring. So I would urge people to at least, take a look at this. If somebody has mental health issues, addiction issues, whatever, just kind of look into wherever you are located and figure out if it's something that you may want to consider. But this is something. So this is what I love about this forum. We can kind of shed some light in areas that are kind of hidden in this whole area of medicine, and especially this area of non-traditional medicine. So my job is to kind of explore things. Obviously, if traditional medicine works, then you don't need anything. I mean, I don't encourage people to explore things when nothing's broken. Don't mess around with it. If your body's working well, just leave it alone. But if you need that extra help, try traditional medicine. If that is not satisfied, then there's so many areas that can be explored. So next week I'll be talking. I mean, I'm digging into what's called vibration medicine. We're going to
I've
be
heard
talking
of
about
that. I heard of
yeah,
that.
yeah, tuning folks and stuff like that. So I'm kind of
No, I've
messing
heard of
around with
that.
that.
There's actually no, there's a whole community on this too, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. I was surprised. I was
Oh yeah, I heard
surprised.
of it. I know it works. I mean, like people don't quite understand it, but that's why. Like I was gonna talk to you a little bit later, but so it's gonna leave you with something. But I'm gonna start buying up music NFTs.
Yeah,
So it sounds so good, and it reminded me of your that bed that you have in your
yeah,
office that it
yeah,
vibrates and you put on the VR glasses and you put the headphones on.
yeah,
So the thing is, I was like thinking about that, but if you were listening to a Web3 music, like a music NFT in a headphone, the whole body, everything like vibrates. You feel so
vibrates. Yeah,
happy. When I'm stressed, I turn that music on, and all of a sudden, in half an hour, I feel in sync again. Like
yeah,
so I don't know. There's something that's vibration. How is you're picking up the audio, depending how what I guess what's the hertz, how is the playback is on.
yeah. So we're going
Yeah,
to be talking
that makes a
about that.
huge.
So I'll give you guys, a little bit of homework. So if people are interested, go Google the magic of 40 hertz MIT, and you'll see an article that's going to pop up that's going to blow your socks off. So I'm going to be focusing on that and a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm working on studying. This whole area of
I'm gonna buy some music NFT and
subtle,
we're gonna play some so you can hear it in your ears and you
yeah,
tell me what
subtle.
kind
It's called subtle energy medicine or vibration medicine. I mean, there are a whole bunch of names on it. Um, so I'm kind of messing around with it right now, and it's a lot of fun. And guess what? I'm getting results. I'm just tiptoeing into it, but I'm getting some amazing results. So that's for the next time. So
of.
pretty cool stuff.
We have John in the space. I don't know, John, if you want to have any questions about longevity,
Comments.
mindfulness, any comments about self-care. This is a 30 minutes space, so we shut down instantly at 2 o'clock. But yeah, this was great. And I still do want to do a space on ketamine therapy
Yeah, by itself.
for
Yep, we're
mental health
working
by
on it.
itself because it has such a bad name for it. People think it's this and that. It's not like that. If you're doing it in a medical office, it's just a totally different. I don't know. When I was done with my therapy, I felt like literally someone just pick up all this weight off my shoulder, all this stuff, not just my shoulder, my whole skeletal muscle. Whatever was like, I felt like the weight of the world was on me. I was just so anxious and yeah, from dealing with menopause and dealing with like the phone calls, worrying about when I missed this appointment, doctor's appointment, that appointment, and I'm trying to I got like 7 interns working for me at the same time. I'm trying to get everything going. I felt like I was getting ready to snap.
Wow.
And yeah, I'm telling you, it was really hard. I was like
Yeah,
doing the grand opening for that other practice I told you about.
yeah, yeah.
So it was a lot of work. And after I did that therapy, I just knew that I can't control. It just changed me, and my attitude and a lot of different things changed after that. I can't control other people's action. The only thing I can control is my action. And what I need to do is focus on what I'm doing and not try to oversee what if, and then try to control this the situation, which was my mother-in-law at the time who was caregiving, and I was upset with her because she wouldn't stop smoking because I didn't want her to die because she was in, but I can't control her. So I just let it be, and I let her enjoy her time before she passed. So it was, it was good for me, good for her, but I think I would have reached it unless I've gone on a ketamine therapy. And I really suggest that for everyone. And I'm not a doctor, but I'm just saying it helped me as a patient.
Absolutely. And I have personal knowledge about how much it benefits my patients. I can tell you, it's just mind-boggling.
So, Dr. Kumar, we're going to go ahead and shut down this space. Why don't you tell our listeners how to get a hold of you? As you know, we are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and I'll be sharing this on LinkedIn. So how can we get a hold of you, Dr. Kumar?
Listen, so my website is lifewellmd.com. I have an office in Port St. Lucie and Palm Beach Gardens in Florida. Easiest way to get hold of me is through a text message. Phone number is 772-332-9975. Any comments, any questions, glad to help you guys out. Okay? All right. Take care. Bye.